Hello, and welcome to the Pest Control Marketing Podcast with your host, me, Hal Coleman, uncensored and unplugged. Pay attention, take lots of notes, because you're going to find out exactly how to get more new customers, more referrals, and grow your business.
Hal Coleman has been active in the pest control industry for over 40 years, including owning and operating his own successful pest control business for 18 years. He now devotes his time to helping other PCOs and other WCOs double, triple, and even quadruple their businesses faster than they ever imagined. Be sure to check out his website, pestcontrolmarketer.com. For more information about Hal's coaching program, you can reach him at 770-993-0004 or email him hal@halcoleman.com. Mike Stewart is known as the Internet audio and video guy. Since the birth of the Internet, Mike has been showing small business owners how to get more new customers, increase their sales, and grow their businesses online using audio and video, now with iPhones and Android phones. For more information about Mike's coaching program and his online training courses, visit MikeStewartCoaching.com or email him mike@internetaudioguide.com. Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Stewart, and I'm here today with the Pest Control Marketing Podcast and my good friend, partner in crime, and sidekick of this podcast, but not the sidekick of Pest Control Marketing, Hal Coleman.
Hey, Mike. You know, I'm not used to you starting it off. I always get to start it off.
Well, you know,
how come you got to start it off today?
Well, because in the last episode, we talk about doing something outrageous. So we've gone almost 80 episodes that you started out, and I wanted to fool everybody this time by me starting it out. I wanted to do something outrageous and different and creative. So,
well, I guess that's okay, but don't get used to it.
Okay. Well, how am I going to get better at it if I don't do it a few more times? This will probably be the last.
I don't want you to get better at it.
Well, then I'll probably just never do it again. So
I want to be first.
Okay, you could be first. But you know what we're going to talk about today is part 3 of online marketing strategies to generate leads for your business. And we talked about in previous episodes SEO, search engine optimization. We talked about SEM, places you can spend your money for search engine marketing, basically paid clicks and advertising. But my mentor is a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk. And Gary is probably one of the most successful content marketing consultants in the world. He owns a company called VaynerMedia. He's a multi-millionaire. And he essentially tested building his mom and dad's wine store with an audio video blog 15 years ago. And he proved the principles of content marketing long before Facebook, before YouTube, before podcasting. In other words, you have content marketing social media tools today that Gary didn't have, and he still did it. He actually wrote a book that if you've never read the book and never heard about the book, it's called Crush It.
Great book. Great book.
Yes. And you know, if you like reading books, I'm sure there's an audio book of it. You could probably go to audible.com and buy the audio book of it and listen to it in your car. I mean, if you don't have the Audible app, that's a great way to listen to books in your car. In fact, I'm going to go to Audible right now and search and make sure that that it's in there as an audiobook. Crushing It. Let's see here. Crush It. Yep, there is the audiobook right there. So in other words, there's no excuse for not getting the information. There's no excuse whatsoever. But content marketing is what makes the search engines gobble you up. So let me tell you about how search engines work. They have an automated piece of software called a spider. And the reason they call it a spider is it just goes around the internet and it looks for every piece of content out there. And if it finds a relevant piece of content, it does what it's called indexes it, meaning it just logs a little blue clickable link to it, and it becomes a search result. So when you don't create lots and lots of content, you don't get lots and lots of blue links from the search engines back to you. So search engine optimization is trying to get people ranking high your website for certain words. But when you do content marketing, your content can get found, which is on your website, for free, and you don't need an SEO company to do it. You just need to create the content. And that's what content marketing is all about. In fact, one of the things I recommend you do is, whether you're on your phone or your tablet, just go to Google and put in content marketing, and you'll see that it is a real thing. It is all about making lots and lots of content that the search engines will index, meaning make a blue clickable link from the search engine back to you. And then, of course, you want to house that content on your websites. Now, what is the easiest way to do content marketing? Well, number one, speaking and transcribing. You know, originally blogging, or the journaling of words, typed words, is what content marketing started. People knew years ago that if they would write a blog post, which is the same thing as like a newsletter, 300, 400, 500 word newsletter, and they would write that piece of content, and it was good and it was relevant to a certain subject. If you're talking about killing cockroaches, you can't talk about shooting pool. If you're talking about shooting pool, you don't want to try to advertise killing cockroaches. It all has to be relevant and consistent. But most people don't want to take the time to write 300 to 500 word blog posts. Now, I know you did it in the early days, Hal.
Yeah, I did. When we first, I don't know how many years ago it's been now. It's been 7, I'm going to say 8, 9 years ago, maybe, when we built pestcontrolmarketer.com. And I started doing a blog article every week, about 300 to 400 words, which is about, not much. And I did probably 200 articles or 150 articles, and then you said, how you need to start doing video blogging, but videos on YouTube. So I started uploading videos to YouTube and then downloading a video a week. So probably the last 200 posts I did were videos. I think I have altogether maybe 350 to 400 videos out there. So yeah, I started out writing articles and then switched over to doing videos, because there's so much videos, and podcasting is so much easier to do because you don't have to worry about punctuation. You don't have to worry about spelling. You don't have to worry about indenting or capitalizations or bullet points. There's no editing to be done when you're just talking, like we are. And but with writing, you got to write, and then you got to rewrite, and then you got to rewrite and edit until you get it down. And you just, if you don't edit it and work on it, you end up with lots and lots of mistakes, and that destroys your credibility.
Well, that was the beginning of content marketing, was blogging and article writing. There were article websites out there. And in fact, ezinearticles.com is still in business. LinkedIn has an ability to post articles that you write on any subject. Medium.com is the big one today. The article colleagues of mine are going to medium.com, and you can be a contributor there, and that is just exploding. That's a new place for article writing. But as life went on, like you said in your story there, just met with a client yesterday, and he has one video in his YouTube channel, and he hasn't done anything in 4 years. That's a missed opportunity. That's the content you put on YouTube with backlinks to your website. People forget that YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. People go to YouTube to get answers to questions. So all you got to do is answer questions about the problems you solve and remind people how to get in touch with you. It's a very simple formula. Don't make long videos. Make short videos.
Yeah, 1 to 2 minutes is fine.
I'm a dummy in the pest control. Can I get sick from bed bugs? What's the difference between a palmetto bug and a cockroach? You don't have to answer them. I'm just telling you, I don't know the answer. but I might go to YouTube to find a video about it in my local area. So there are thousands of pieces of content that you could make quickly and easily, but most people don't because they want somebody else to do it for them. And there's no way I can answer the question and be the expert. You have to do that. That's why it's really good getting comfortable making YouTube videos and answering questions. And one of my mentors is a guy named Seth Godin. I told you about Gary Vaynerchuk. You ought to read and listen to Seth Godin, Godin. And Seth this last year said, we all knew blogging, and there's a system called ping and blog. If you go to Google and search blog and ping, you'll see that is an old SEO, search engine optimization strategy that you can read about. And there's tools out there to make it easy. But the problem with that is that required people writing. Well, what people are now doing is that Seth said the blogging of today is podcasting. What we're doing. Why do we do this podcast? One, to be indexed in the search engines, to be found, to increase our search engine optimization, and to create content that our audience can listen to while they're driving to work, listen to on their phones, listen to while they're at lunch. In other words, they can dial in and listen to it and subscribe to it and get to build a relationship with you and I, Hal, while we sleep. And it's all based on optimizing our website and adding another piece of content. So podcasting is something everybody could do. Think of it as a local audio newsletter just for your market. It's your own radio station. So that's a type of content marketing. Sharing that content on social media, Instagram, Facebook, that's content marketing. When we do a blog post or a podcast post, we share it in social media to get more listeners. We remind people that you can listen to us on Apple and Google and Stitcher and Spotify. Gary Vaynerchuk says, create content and be everywhere. Not be one place, not just focus on Instagram or Facebook, but be everywhere. So content marketing is about make a piece of content and repurpose it everywhere. That's one of the reasons I told you recently that we're putting all our podcasts up as YouTube videos. Very simple process. We're taking the audio of our shows.
Wait a minute. We are putting them up as videos? I'm the one that's putting them up as videos, and I'm working myself to death doing this.
Well, and are we produced? Now, don't get into semantics here. We made an arrangement between us, so you don't produce the podcast, and I don't put them on YouTube, folks. Everybody has his. You know what? It doesn't matter how it gets done; it needs to be done.
And you know what I think about when I'm doing them? I'm thinking, this is not complicated at all to do, because as you've said many times, if I can do it, anybody can do it. But you know what it does? It takes a few minutes.
Yes.
And people just aren't willing to take a few minutes to sit down and do something new. It's all about the habits that we're in right now. So, folks, if you will do this, you'll be amazed at how much business you'll get, because your competition's not going to do it. Because very, very, very few people are willing to do anything new, especially if it takes time or effort. So I can tell you not one out of 100 pest control companies is doing a lot of this stuff. If you just started doing it in your marketing, doing the things that Mike and I teach and the suggestions that we give you to do free, you would blow your competition out of the water, because they're not doing it. And be honest, you're probably not going to do it either.
And now here's a word from our sponsor.
Google Pest Control Marketing. Grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.
Did you hear that? That is a jingle. But more than that, it is an audio logo and what I call a marketing earworm. But that's a bug, that's a worm you want in your local market on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and podcasts like you're listening to right now. Yes, you should do a podcast as a PCO, but we'll talk about that another time. You want your market singing Google your name, what you do, and your phone number. Simple, but it works. If you want to cash in on this marketing bonanza, go to pestcontrolmarketingjingles.com to learn more. Or just call me, Mike Stewart, at 770-826-3662, or call Hal Coleman at 770-993-0004. And we would love to show you how to do what we call search and call advertising with earworms. And oh yeah, it works on that old-timey technology of radio and television. Why don't you call us today and learn more?
Google Pest Control Marketing. Grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.
And be honest, you're probably not going to do it either, because you may be one of those 99 out of 100 that says, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'm sure it would work. I see it. I understand. You're right. That I need to be doing that, but most people won't.
Well, that's goes back to what we talked about in outrageous marketing. Doing things that your competition doesn't do is going to make you stand out from the crowd. So anyway, content marketing is about making text content, audio content, and video content and putting it everywhere. YouTube, podcasts, blog, WordPress blogs, Pinterest is content marketing. Making memes. There's all kinds of meme creators out there. If you search a meme generator, you'll find there's lots of them out there that'll help you make them for Facebook, and you can synchronize your audio to a meme. A meme is just a graphic. One of the other things that really makes it simple for content marketing, there's a website called rev.com, just like you rev your engine, rev.com. I can send an audio recording to them, and I've had as little as 15 minutes a Word document with all the uhs and ums taken out and all the words corrected. And you'll be amazed at how great it reads when it's a conversation with no uhs and ums and repeats. A human being actually transcribes it for $1 a minute. So if you got a 10-minute interview, you'll get for $10, you'll get somebody else in the world to send you a transcription of it. So
now that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and there are actually some out there. There's actually a version here that's computerized, and they'll actually translate it into other languages. You can get it cheaper if the computer does the transcription, but generally you have to go in and edit it because the computers will make mistakes. But for a human being to convert the audio or the video to text and make sure the spelling is right, and it's been amazing how great it is. So that's another way to create content. But one of the things I want to tell you about is that when I saw Gary speak about content marketing, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this is what he said in a video speech he did. He said, content marketing is the SEO opportunity that most people won't do. And he said, content marketing is what built my mom and dad's business from a $5 million a year wine store in New Jersey to $50 million a year. The content, he built a blog called WineLibrary.tv. This was like 15 years ago. And at that website, he built a following of 2 million wine lovers, which was pretty sexy for 15 years ago.
Wow.
But 2 million people. Those 2 million people loved his content so much, and he said, oh, by the way, if you want to get these bottles of wine that I'm talking about, or these glasses, or these wine openers, in other words, products, he sent them to his mom and dad's e-commerce website, and they got up to $50 million a year. He discovered, and it's all the stories in Crush It. If you want to read about it, go buy the Crush It book. It's all about content marketing. So here's what Gary said in the video. He said, I try to put out 1,000 pieces of content a day. I should be doing 5,000. And I went,
holy smokes.
Holy smokes. That's exactly how but now that's Gary. That's Gary. And Gary has a huge team that he says, but what I do is I make one piece of pillar content like a podcast. like our 15, 20-minute podcast or a keynote speech or something. And he says, I give that to my team, and they chop it up into 1,000 little pieces and get it everywhere. Now, if you just did 1/100th of what Gary says, you would be above all of your competition. And that's what we're discovering. But if you want to see what Gary has if you go to Google and search Gary Vaynerchuk content model, I highly recommend that you go to his website and study his 86 pages of insanity, the Gary V content model. This is just the truth. He's got 86 slides of what he does to build his presence organically or for free with content marketing. And it's brilliant. And what he says is build pillar content, one piece of content, my video blog, my Q&A show, my keynotes, or my podcast, and create short forms of content such as articles, memes, images, quotes, stories, mashups, remixes, rants, GIFs, and distribute them on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, Quora, email, and RSS, which is pod. So you can go here. He's got the recipe to become a content marketing ninja. And obviously you're not going to be is because that's his wheelhouse. That's what he does better than anybody in the world. If you just
he works 18 hours a day too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you got to do is 1/1000th of what he does, and you're above your competition. So my point being is content marketing. I've given you the resources. Read the book. Look at Gary's content marketing. Consider, what we do with our clients, Hal, is we help them get a YouTube channel. We help them get a podcast and blog started. That's better. Do you have those three things? If you don't, it's a missed opportunity. And that's what, and that's like 1/1000th of what Gary says. But if you want to look at the skyscraper and say, I just want to build a 3-story building, and everybody else in town's living in lean-tos, look at it that way. You don't have to build a skyscraper like Gary. You just need to do more than your competition. And so of the way the lead generation opportunities are search engine optimization done correctly, search engine marketing done correctly, and then, of course, content marketing. And there are ways to not consume your life with it. That's what we do. That's what I teach in my coaching program, is your options to get it done either affordably, but still be you, i.e., I have some blogging customers that I just interview them once a month, like you and I are talking, Hal, and then they don't got to do anything else. We do the rest for them. And but then I've got some clients like Tim McCorder hired his son, Aaron, and Aaron does it for him. And then there's some people that never do it. I'm just telling you, content marketing is the third leg on the stool to build a huge internet presence. And all you got to do is do things that your competition isn't doing, and you can rise above the crowd and be found. And then if they use Hal Coleman response triggers and Hal Coleman strategies to really make sure your offline side of your work is working, then you're going to grow your business. The people that do have, the people that don't. And, one of the things that Hal does is he will spend an hour with you absolutely free if you just call him, 770-993-0004. Hal will tell you what he can do for you. He'll evaluate it. He's got a whole thing. You tell about, Hal, what you do for that.
Well, I actually, I stayed on the site too. If you're not serious about wanting to help, don't bother to call me, because I'm busy. You are too, and I don't want you to waste my time if you're just a curiosity seeker. But if you're serious about, if you're at a wall and your business is not growing, or if you're at a wall with your employees, or it's growing but not as fast as you would like, give me a call. And what I do is I actually send you out we set a time for our 1-hour meeting, but I send you a questionnaire to fill out. It's about a dozen questions, and they're the answer should be on the top of your head mostly. That's what I want, what's on the top of your head. But it's about your marketing, your advertising, your growth, what you're doing, what you're not doing. And that way, when we spend our hour together, I don't have to spend the whole hour asking you these questions. I already will have the answers to your questions. I will have already gone over them. I will have made some notes for you. And when we get on the call together, we'll be able to go right to the places where I've spotted low-hanging fruit and easy opportunities for you to go out there and make some adjustments to your business. And, Mark Twain once said the difference between almost right and right is like the difference between a lightning bug and lightning. So I'll show you some places where you're almost right, places where you can just do some tweaks. And you know what? It won't cost you a penny because that 1 hour is free. And I would love to spend it with you if you're serious. And you do the same thing, don't you, Mike?
Absolutely. If they'll just call 770-826-3662, 826-3662, 770 is the area code. And I'd love to look at your website. I'd like to talk about all the things that you can do. I'd love to share with you my 13 steps to local domination. If you're not doing all 13, you're missing out. We cover things all the way from YouTube channels to online jingles and so forth. There's a whole world of outrageous marketing that you can do if you talk to me and Hal. And the reason we do this podcast is we want to share the truth with you, but we want to remind you that we're here to help you if you'll just reach out and call us. So with that being said, I think you got some work to do, don't you?
Yeah, but you started this podcast, so I'm going to get to close it out, okay, just to make it seem fair.
Okay. Will you close them out all the
I do have some work to do, and Mike, this has been fun as always, and I get a lot of great comments about our podcast, and it makes me really feel good. And tell your friends about our podcast, folks. Tell them they need to be listening. Let your salespeople listen, your marketing people listen, because we feel like we have some stuff to offer that they might not be aware of. So we're going to keep it up, and I hope you keep up the listening. And with that, Mike, I'm going to get out of here, and I thank everyone for listening to this episode of the Pest Control Marketing Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Pest Control Marketing Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast in iTunes and on your phones and in Stitcher on your Android. But more importantly, go to our website, pestcontrolmarketingpodcast.com. Subscribe to our email list to always be notified of new episodes. You're never going to want to miss what we got coming up next, and you never know what we're going to be able to do to help you with your pest control marketing.